Welcome back, everybody. Another issue or session of Gaming with God. I'm your host, Grumpy Old Dude. We finished up yesterday with our playthrough of Pool of Radiance from SSI, a Dungeons and Dragons game. And in the last week of that, U-Boat from Deep Waters was updated. So we're going to take a look at that now. The current state of it. It's an early access on Steam and GOG both. On screen you see the U-Boat launcher. You'll see I have a number of mods, a couple mods that do not have activated. These have not been updated by the authors yet to definitively be compatible with the new update on U-Boat. These four mods, the authors say they have updated. Now U-Boat is going to tell me that two of them are not updated, but the mod authors say that they have updated them. So we're going to start this. Now the load screen for U-Boat always has been slow, and it still is. My dog is walking on my headset cable. So I will suspend the recording once I start play, but I want to explain the four mods I do have. More officers on board, simply as that, exactly. It allows you to recruit more officers than the default status allows you to have. Expanded crew, same thing. Only for enlisted personnel, you can have a larger crew on the boat. Slot machine, it adds extra storage to the galley storage. Weight rebalance increases the weight of things you put in those extra slots, so you can't just abuse the bejesus out of it. Okay? So I'm going to hit play, then I'll suspend record until the game gets booted up, and we'll see you shortly. Okay, now we're at the launch screen. We're going to hit new game. Now, this is new right here. U48 as an option. Begins at the port of Wilhelmshaven. Normal difficulty level. Starts in September 1939. Prior to this last update, U96 was your standard starting point in the port of La Rochelle on the west coast of France on the Atlantic Ocean. That begins in January 1941. I'm going to go ahead and start us here. I'm going to take a balanced simulation. I'm going to take intermediate requirements as far as the crew is concerned. Now on the difficulty levels, I have the tutorial disabled. I just don't want to be bothered with it. AI difficulty medium, economic difficulty hard, expanded sailor management, I do want that activated. Coordinate style, I want to go with classic. Everything here, torpedo flaws, I want realistic. Realistic bilge. And this puts us at a 74% realism factor. So it's not real arcade-ish, but it's a little bit arcade-like. And it's not punishingly realistic, but it's going to be challengingly so. So now we go to the next screen here. This is our setup for the game. Oh, let's go back one here. This is new. I want the audio in English. There we go. Then now I've got to do this over again. Do that. Do that. Do that. And do that. Oh, by putting it in English, it cut 10% off the difficulty level, huh? Oh, here we go. There's the difference right there. Well, that was 5 of it. Yeah, apparently having it do the language in German makes it more difficult. Probably because I don't speak German. So we're going to be at 69%. Here's our captain. Now you can change things about him. Accessory 2, this says none. I'm going to give him a pipe. Here we go. You can, like I said, you can change things about it, hair colors, all that kind of good stuff. You can rename him. Now we wait through the intro. Thousands of young, brave men enlisted in the Kriegsmarine, enticed by adventure and something else, less than half of them returned. I'm going to turn this volume down a little bit. Pretty loud in my ear. Maybe it was, here it is, less than half of them returned home. Maybe it was just the setting that was too loud on my headset. Their lives in flight became legendary. Fort Wilhelmshaven, 1 September 1939. Yes, you can hit enter and skip all of this. But for our first look, let's go ahead and let it play through. Now I'm going to suspend the recording while it continues to load. Okay, we have now arrived at the actual beginning of gameplay screen. As soon as I get this to open up again on my computer, here we go. First thing I want to do is pause actual time. 1 September 1939, noon. Okay, first thing we have to do, use the mouse scroll, and then you can look inside the boat. Now, you can play this game in first-person mode. I don't. Okay, it's just, I don't care to. Now, we need to load our torpedo tubes, and the reason we need to do that before we leave port instead of after is when we load these torpedo tubes, we will create space in our storage racks for additional torpedoes. So we need to load those 4 forward tubes. We need to load the rear tube. And that will give us room for 5 additional torpedoes in storage for reload purposes. Plus there was one open spot in the front rack anyway, so we have room now for 6 additional torpedoes, which we will eventually get from supply. Next thing we're going to do before we actually start playing is go to crew management here. First thing I do is I eliminate one of the 3 shifts. You just don't have the crew to run 3 shifts. You really don't. Nor is it necessary to. Having been in the military for 18 years, I was never in the Navy, obviously, so I was in the Army, so I was never on a submarine. But on a submarine deployed to sea, you don't have anywhere you can go during your off time. You're not going to go to town. You're not going to go to the club. So working 8 on and 16 off is kind of an absurdity. I use 6 on, 6 off, 2 shifts a day. So there's one shift, and there's the other shift. And that's done just by left-clicking and dragging the mouse. Klaus Graf, he is, the way I play the game, he's my sub-commander. He's me, if you will. And Michael Knott will be his mechanic or his engineer. He's on shift with him. My XO will be Kurt Hoffman. He'll be on shift when I'm not. His engineer will be Horst Weber. The radio man I don't schedule. He will work when he needs to work and be free when he needs to be free. Okay, expanded crew. We are allowed to have up to 30. I'm going to board the additional available enlisted people. So we have 23 enlisted persons on board instead of the default 18 that the game starts you with. Now for tasks. Start with the officers. The navigation table is to me the most important task. You can just enter the numbers that used to cause issues with the game, hold the shift key, and use the mouse scroll wheel. I want the nav table to be the highest priority for my 2 leader officers. Okay? They need to know their position. Their second highest priority needs to be the watch. Third will be being a leader, being an officer. Okay? Now, he is the XO, so he'll play cards once in a while with some of the guys. He might fix some food and that once in a while. Kind of gets him a little closer to the crew. Loading torpedoes. I do not want my engineers automatically loading torpedoes. I want them to load them when I tell them to. Don't load them when I don't say to load them. Okay? Reason for that is if I fire a torpedo and I dive because I'm being prosecuted by a destroyer, loading of torpedoes makes noise, makes it much easier to find me. So I don't want that happening unless I direct it to happen. Their number one priority needs to be the engines. Their number two priority is fixing things that break on the boat. Maintain the torpedoes. That reduces the odds of a dud. And fabricate repair parts. Those are my two engineers. My radio man, I want equal priority for the hydrophone or the radio. If we're on the surface, I want him on the radio. If we're submerged, I want him on the hydrophone. I don't know if that works or not, but that's my logic. He is also the boat's medic. Now, because I gave the two officers a task order in priority of 11, I need to give their sleep a priority of 12. Which means that if they're not working, they will go off shift. Now, everybody else has a priority sleep of 11 because they don't have a task priority exceeding 10. The higher the numeric on the task priority, the higher the probability that that's what that officer is going to be doing. Crew list. Tasks enlisted. First thing I do here is I zero out the periscope. I do not want enlisted people walking by and upping the periscope. Okay, if it needs to be raised, I'll raise it. I want them working alongside the engineers on the engine. That's number one. Keep the motor running, keep everything working like it's supposed to. Next is the steering controls. The helm. After that, I want the valves, right? Depth steers. No, I want watch. And I want depth steers. And we're going to come over here, we're going to do bulkheads. That's damage control. Power switches. Manning the valves. Manning the radio. Getting something to eat. And cleaning the boat. So everything is assigned a priority except for using the periscope. I don't want them on the periscope. Now for squads. All right, my two leaders, I only give one enlisted assistant. And I have found that if you give them two, the second assistant will up the periscope when your leader is on the attack scope. And some people don't know it, but submarines have two periscopes. An observation periscope, which is the one you see in the movies, up scope, and then they walk around in the control room. And then there's an attack scope, which is actually in the conning tower. When your leader mans the attack scope, if he has two assistants, the second one will man the observation periscope. I don't want that, so I only give him one. By assigning assistants, you make these guys better at what they're doing. Okay? So that's why we do that. Now, you see over here we've got torpedoes being loaded. Tubes 2, 3, 4, and 5. Why is it 2, 1 being loaded? Well, that's by default being loaded. This is our order queue. I've ordered the loading of tubes 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we hit play, in other words, hit the spacebar, take it off pause. We go to 48 time time compression, which is the most we can do at this view. And while that's happening, they're loading torpedoes right here. Oops. I'm making a mess of things here. While that's all going on, we're going to go into supply. Show me what you've got. Now remember, I set the economic difficulty to hard. That means I want all the free torpedoes I can get. Only got one open spot right now, so I'm going to take the one. Need to top off my fuel reserves. We have foods, but we don't have as fresh fruits and the like. So I'm going to buy 50 of those. I'll go to ammunition. I'm going to sell back these 5-star shells. I don't use them. I'm going to buy more AP ammo, armor piercing ammunition. Here we go. Now we've got 1,200 left, and these are 1,000 in medic parts. I'm going to buy a spare part. So I'm down to 210 bucks. So now we do that. We go back to 48 time compression and let these torpedo tubes load. You see he's in the process of loading here. Very slowly it goes over there. And we just have to wait for that to happen. So I'm going to suspend recording while I wait for that to happen, and then we'll see you shortly. Okay, we're almost done loading torpedoes now. Here we go. He says he's done. Let's pause the timer. Let's confirm that we have all 5 torpedo tubes loaded now. Oh, they're in the process of loading that one. Yep, he's loading tube 2 yet. Okay, so we're going to continue to wait till that gets done. That's not going to take too long here. Got the 48 time compression going. In about a minute he'll have that done, and in fact, there's our supply depot. It's about 60% loaded, 75. And there it is, loaded. Okay. So now we go into here.
Take a look.
And we say torpedoes. I want 1, 2. Now you have to draw different ones over. You can't just draw the same one over for 5 times. You'll only get 1 torpedo that way. Here we go. That fills our torpedo racks. Now we need orders. For that we go to the leading officer.
Is deeply impressed by your last patrol.
How is that so when I haven't had a last patrol? This is my first one. Ah well. Are there orders from the Admiralty?
Your eyes only.
Let that load up. Here we go. AN 19 and 55, this area here. After rigorous training and preparation, your U-boat is now ready for your first assignment. Choose one of the available areas of operation and start your journey, Skipper. The reward for a successful mission is 100% reputation. You get reputation in 33% increments, 33, 66, and 100. At 100 points of reputation, 100%, that gives you authorization to buy a mission. You can buy an additional crew slot, officer slot, that kind of thing. Reward $4,000 to your budget. This is difficulty low. This is a different sector, same thing, patrol it. 1,070 nautical miles in your patrol zone, 1,070 nautical miles in your patrol zone. Same rewards, same difficulty level. Third patrol zone, Same mileage requirements, same reward levels. Initially, they're all 3 low difficulties. Again, this is September 1939. We'll just take this one. Okay, so we have our orders and we're ready to go. Now we're going to hit the telegraph. That's where we indicate our speed. We are in port. Oh, I didn't accept the order.
Admiralty is deeply impressed by your
I did it
last
again.
patrol.
I got the orders and I hit
Captain.
exit, not select. So I didn't
These are
accept my
current orders
orders.
from headquarters. Your eyes only.
Here we go. Hit select, not exit. Hit select. Now we have orders. Now we go to the telegraph. I had 1.
Faster, faster.
We are in port. Just scroll around here to change the camera. There'll be traffic, other ships and vessels. You don't go racing through the port. It's a bad idea. We'll go to the world map here. Shift. Now you see we're plotting a course.
Set a course
Right
for these
click for that
coordinates.
leg, right click for that one, and that one.
Change course.
The planned patrol route won't last, trust me. Go to 12 by time compression until we get out of the port area. See where we're at here. You see we just left. That's our patrol boat, our U-boat pen right there. We are still very much in the harbor. We kind of look around. You can see the harbor a bit. Here goes the car racing. Of course, we're on 12 by time compression. There's the channel locks up ahead there. We'll go to 48 time compression. We move the locks, we stop, we wait for the water levels to adjust, and then we proceed out into the open channel. And here we go. Back to the world map, go to 140 time compression. Scroll in. Here we go. 9 cables. Measured in nautical miles here. 1 cable is 1/10 of a nautical mile. Time flashing by up here. It's been 2 hours since the game started, as far as game time is concerned. Go to speed 2,
Faster.
which is 10 knots instead of 5. We're out of the port area now, so causing a wake is not going to disturb other vessels. Now we'll go to 1800 time compression. Now we're going to book along. Here we go. Funnel smoke, that's going to be a friendly vessel at this stage. I'm not worried about that. We are not yet at war with England. And we'll get a radio message, I believe, to that effect shortly. I have played a little bit of the game since the release just to get a feel for it. Two of the major changes in the game that became very, very evident very quickly. There are far, far more escort ships with convoys than there used to be. And they are far better at prosecuting submarines than they used to be. And we got a radio message. The game automatically took itself off time compression when we got the radio message. Received transmission from BDU, that's headquarters. Now we have to receive and translate, or not translate, but decode the message. Here's our progress. And we'll take it off time compression about now. There we are. Hostile actions on the part of Polish allies, England and France, are not to be expected. Hostile actions against them are prohibited until further notice. Confirm receipt, leave the radio message, and go back to 1800 time compression. Now we are about to cross the line into our patrol zone. When that happens, we will notify headquarters that we have arrived at our patrol zone. We get $350 budget dollars for that. So we're going to go from 210 to 560 just because we arrived. We haven't died yet, which is a good thing. What I was saying about the changes with the increased destroyer presence and whatnot, if you get foolish and you take stupid risks, you get to pay stupid prices now. So, yeah. Some of the stunts I used to pull under the old system, don't do them anymore. It's a good way to end up dead. Which translates to game over. TPK in Dungeons and Dragons terms. Now we're just patrolling our zone. Now, let me show you something you can do too. 9:59. This is in the morning. We're going to wait until nightfall when you can't see anything. And my radio man's going to be asleep, so we're going to have to wait for him to... We got another radio message here. Let's get it received and decoded. To all submarines, English ships are being considered hostile with immediate effect. At present, all first wave submarines are instructed to attack freighters in accordance with the terms of the prize rules. As long as the prize rules are enforced, cargo ships flying the English flag may be attacked without warning. Okay. Now we want to go hunting. Now we want to find ships with British flags. Okay, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Our guy is going to go sleep because he is tired. His energy is recharging. These guys will change shifts automatically according to the schedule as long as you don't tell them manually to do something different. Another headquarters message from BDU here. Let's see what they have to say now. What about there? France has been at war with us since 1700 hours today. It's 1754. Defensive actions against French warships and freighters are permitted. Submarines are not allowed to board or attack French-flagged vessels. Self-defense is allowed. I point out that all UK ships are also to be considered hostile. So we cannot attack French ships unless they attack us first. Okay. Now our guy is back on the radio. It's 6:44, 1844 hours. It's becoming a little dark, a little more difficult to see. We're going to show one of the things the developers put in, I think 1 or maybe 2 patches ago. A routine hydrophone check. You can click this button, and what it will do is the boat will dive to 50 meters, stop. Your radio man will listen to the hydrophone. You'll spend 5 minutes just sitting stationary at a depth of 50 meters, at which point, if he hasn't heard anything, then they'll blow the tanks and surface again, okay? But the point of this is what you can see is limited, the visible line of sight, and then in dark it's even more limited. The hydrophone will be able to hear things from much farther away. So we'll go on to 12 by time compression.
Switch to electric motors.
Here we are. Here's the maximum range for the hydrophone. Just listening for noises. Listening for the turning screws of a surface ship.
Blow the tanks.
Okay, 5 minutes came and went. They didn't hear anything.
Switch to diesel engines.
You resurface. You resume your course. You resume your speed. Over here you can see our buoyancy, our compressed air reserves are refilling. It will also automatically do that, which is the only time it automatically does it is after that setting. Otherwise, you have to manually send people back here to charge your air compressors. Compressed air is how you surface when you're below the surface. You dive a submarine by blowing air out of the ballast tanks, taking water in. That's weight, and that sinks the sub. Then when you want to surface, you use that compressed air to force that water out of the tanks and replace it with air, which is buoyant, and then the sub floats. Problem is, when you're really deep, it's really hard to push that water out of the tanks. There's a lot of pressure pushing against you as you try and eject that water. So you need a lot of compressed air to do it. Illustration of what I'm talking about by how taking the air into the ballast tanks makes the sub float. When you go to a swimming pool, exhale, float. Just be floating on the water and then exhale. Push all the air out of your lungs you can, and you will sink deeper into the water. Then when you get back onto the surface again, draw in just as much air as you possibly can into your lungs and hold your breath, and your body will rise in the water. You will float higher. You'll displace less water. And we continue our patrol. And we will do this until we have a target or until our 1,070 miles are up. This time of year, this time of the war, September 1939, October 1939, we may do the entire patrol and never have an encounter. It's entirely possible. Noon. Raining and overcast. I'm going to take it to dark. Setting sun. We're going to do the listening thing again here.
Meters.
My radio man is about to go get some sleep.
Switch to electric motors.
So until that happens, we'll do this for a little bit. See if we can find a target. Now, just because we find a ship doesn't mean it's somebody we can sink. We're not to be sinking neutrals. So far, we haven't seen anything on this patrol.
Blow the tanks.
And nothing happens.
Switch to diesel engines.
We go back to 1800 time compression. We're going to extend our patrol route. Whoops.
Set a course to these coordinates. Change course.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we've got our radio man back. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Surprisingly bright for 4 o'clock in the morning. We're going to do this
50
again.
meters.
We last did it
Switch
down
to
here.
electric motors.
Now we'll do it up here. And it doesn't appear as though there's anything out here yet. Navigational certainty is at 98%. Our officer is at the nav table, making sure that he knows where we are in the water.
Switch to diesel engines.
Always a good thing to know. Incoming U-boat message from U1008. Now these will come in much faster. I'm not under time compression, and U-boat to U-boat transmissions are much, much quicker. Freighter now. There we go. Freighter in Naval Square AN 244, northeasterly course, slow speed. Okay, 244, northeasterly coast, course, probably going for Bergen. So that may be a Norwegian ship. Now it's outside our patrol zone, but we don't have anything else to do.
Change course.
So we're going to do this.
Faster!
We're
Faster!
going to speed up, and we're going to intercept this and see what it is. Excuse me, sorry about that. So we're going to race up in front of it here. Hopefully we're in front of it. Now we're going to see if we can locate it.
50 meters. Switch to electric motors.
Set a northeasterly course, which should put it from there to Bergen. It's right here. And we're not finding it.
Blow the tanks.
We're not finding it. That's not good.
Switch to diesel engines. Change course.
Let's go this way in case we came in behind it somewhere. Let's go to 140 times compression instead of 1800. Time's clicking away pretty quick here. Middle of the afternoon. Actually, it's just half past noon, so good visibility out there. Let's try this again, see if we can hear anything.
50 meters. We're slowing down.
I should by rights be in front of it, I think. He was supposed to be going slowly, so
Switch to electric motors.
that would put them at, I'm projecting at 8 knot speed. I was doing 16 or 18 getting up here. Actually, slow speed on a convoy ship probably be about 6 knots. And there's nothing there. I'm turning up nothing at all. That's too bad. We got an opportunity to maybe sink a boat.
Blow the tanks. Switch to diesel engines.
But
Yes,
it doesn't
sir.
seem to be there. We'll go back here. We got to get back into our patrol zone and patrol where we're supposed to be. There's 1800. Let's give this one more shot. See if
50 meters.
anything shows up here.
Switch to electric motors.
Skipper, I've detected a ship.
Somehow it's behind. It got past us.
Set a course to these
So we're
coordinates.
going to do this.
Yes, sir.
We're going to go to flank speed
Faster,
all ahead
faster.
just as fast as we can go.
Blow the tanks.
We're going to surface us. This thing's about 30 miles ahead of us. But I want to have us definitely outrunning it.
Switch to diesel engines. Faster! Faster!
Here we are. Now we spotted funnel smoke, so we came out of
Set a course
time
to these
compression
coordinates.
automatically. We report the spotting of that smoke to headquarters.
Set a course to these coordinates.
Now I'm going to go to 140 time compression. I want to see this move, but I don't want to go to 1800 time compression because if it's moving the wrong direction, I don't want to all of a sudden be so far away from it that I can't pursue it. I want to see, however, what direction it's moving. It's coming towards me. Okay.
Set a course to these coordinates. We're slowing down.
It's either coming toward me or I'm way outrunning it. Let's see, it is 7:48 in the evening. I just changed. You have to be real careful doing this because when you hit the mouse button, you can change your plot course.
Change course.
This thing is...
Set an interception course.
Okay, 3 miles to intercept. This is not the same boat that we were radioed about. This is going the opposite direction of that boat. Let's stay on the surface for right now. Okay, now we're going to go to periscope depth.
Periscope depth.
Just in case this is a British warship. Like a destroyer or a cruiser or something. The last thing I want to do is get into a surface gunnery battle with a surface warship. We are not equipped to deal with that kind of
Switch to electric motors.
contact. We get to die doing that.
Faster! Faster!
There's probably the one I was looking for right there. We go to 4018. There we are.
Alarm. Take your positions.
Now, the crew will be suffering stress now because there's a ship in our range. We go to 12 by time compression, get us out in the hydrophone here. Once he's in our hydrophone's real range, I'll have my radio operator start working on a torpedo solution.
Torpedo course.
Now, there are ways to manually resolve torpedo firing solutions.
We're slowing down.
I don't use them. I insist that my crew does their jobs. And resolving a torpedo firing solution is the officer's job.
We're slowing down.
Now, I'm on about a 90-degree angle intercept course, but I'm going to get to this point long before he does. So I'm slowing down as much as I can without stopping. I've got a 2-mile plot. We should intersect about here, which is a mile ahead of me. I want 500, 600, 700 yards range when I fire. The torpedo needs 300 or 400 yards to arm itself. The closer you are to your target, the less likely you are to miss it. The problem with getting in too close, aside from if you're too close, it's not within arming distance, is that once you fire, you have less time to move and change your position before it impacts and everybody knows you're there. There is, however, here only one boat. So if I fire on it, I don't care if I'm only 600-700 yards away. I don't have to run from an escort ship. If there's escort ships around, I want to fire from much farther away so I can fire, dive, change my depth, change my course heading, change my distance, be in a different position when that torpedo hits than where I was when I fired. Now, once he's in line of sight, you see my leader here is on the attack periscope. That is up here in the conning tower, right there. And the observation scope is down, which means if I give him a second enlisted person here, he would raise that observation scope. And that would be more visible to a surface ship than is the attack scope. The attack scope is much smaller. Field of view on the attack scope is much smaller. Okay, once he's in line of sight, then the officer here can start helping with the torpedo resolution. Oh, he never stopped. There we are. 5% solution right now, which is virtually nil. But it's based entirely on sound. It takes time to resolve a firing solution that way. Well, it takes a lot of time. It takes time anyway for these guys.
Calculate torpedo
Here we
course.
are. As of yet, we don't know anything about this ship. It's too far away, too dark. We can't see it clearly. We can't see the flag. As time goes by, we result the course, and we and the target vessel get closer to each other. We'll figure out what the nationality is. If it's a British ship flying a UK flag, we'll attack it. If it's independent, if it's French, we'll leave it alone. If it's neutral, we'll stop it, board it, and search it for contraband. If it's carrying munitions, fuel, then we'll probably sink it. Those are war goods. Okay, one other thing I'm going to do here while those guys are doing that, I'm going to have my engineers do maintenance on the torpedoes in case we need to fire one or two. This will reduce the chances of the torpedo being a dud.
Skipper.
12% firing solution. I do not have time compression going. This is one of the things about sub-sims is very, very much hurry up and wait. Okay? Because it's only one boat, I'm going to go ahead and go to 12 by time compression. He's speeding through the torpedo maintenance now. Our resolution is getting stronger, 21%. It is a British flagship. Okay, we are going to sink this boat. Okay, now, do I want to sink it with the surface guns or torpedo? I want to sink it with the torpedo. Firing solution is 29%. I want a full stop.
Slowing down.
I want him to do maintenance on another torpedo in case I need to fire two.
Faster, faster.
Solution 60%. $76. He's making 7 knots. 84% solution. 88, 90. 6. Okay, take time compression off. We're at 97% firing solution. Okay, that's not a good impact angle, 20 degrees. We're going to wait a little bit. This is coming down. We want this under 25. There we are. We're going to fire one torpedo. Let's put 2 in it. Let's go to a 30-meter spread. Torpedo speed of 30 knots, depth of 1.5 meters. Tubes are flooded.
Fire!
And we fire. And because this is an unescorted vessel, I'm going to go ahead and start reloading those 2 torpedo tubes. If it were escorted, I would probably not start reloading.
Move! Come on!
I would be diving in order to avoid detection. But because there are no escort ships here,
Change course.
now there was another one, contact right up here to my north. We might be able to sink this one and intercept that one. We have 2 torpedoes on the way here.
30 seconds.
Very high hit probabilities.
20 seconds.
There's our target. 2,700 ton. I only should have shot one at it probably. But she's going to sink. There's no bright green here. The hull is broken on this boat. It's on fire. It's damaged. It's going to sink. Okay. Now we're going to move our radio man from the hydrophone to the radio so that he can tell headquarters about our kill. Empire foam sunk. And we got 1,800 points for that.
Change course.
Now we are going to surface.
Blow the tanks. Switch to diesel engines. Faster! Faster! Change course.
It is 2030, so that is 10:30. I take that back. 8:30 p.m. So we're going to run until about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then we're going to dive down and listen again.
Loaded.
Okay, tube 1 loaded. We fired 2 torpedoes, so we need to load 2 torpedo tubes. Here we go.
Come on, quickly. Tube 2, loaded.
Here we are. Time compression. Isn't it wonderful? There we are, 9:30. Let's get it till 9:45. Ooh, funnel smoke. Oh, it's just about to dive and see where that thing was. Ah, come off of time compression. Jeez.
Set an interception course.
Periscope
Periscope depth.
depth. Hydrophone.
Switch to electric motors. Alarm! Take your positions.
Alright, I'll stop.
We're slowing down.
Let's see, point my
Set a
nose
course to
this
these
way,
coordinates.
and then let's go into
We're
reverse.
slowing down.
Till we can complete our turn. While we're doing that, he will start working
Calculate
on the torpedo
torpedo
solution
course.
in case this is another British ship. If it's not British, we'll stop it and search it. If it is, we'll stop it another way. Because that's what we do. In real time, subs do not turn quickly.
Faster! Faster!
I said all stop and it said faster, faster. Why? Because I was going in reverse. So zero movement is faster than negative movement, which is what reverse is termed as, viewed as. I'll let him come into the field of view. 15% firing solution now, which is insufficient to fire or engage target, but here we go. Can't see it well enough for him to start a solution.
Calculate torpedo course.
Another British ship, good. Good for us. Not so good for them. And we're going to start torpedo maintenance again. Empire Clive, we don't know the tonnage on it yet. Our firing solution is 28%, which is insufficient. 29.
Faster, faster.
Forward 1, which is barely faster, or barely moving. We're submerged, so it'll be like 4 knots or so.
We're slowing down.
Here we are. Now we're moving 1 knot. 31% firing solution. Almost got maintenance pulled on that torpedo. Putting it back in. Done with that one. I'll do this one.
Affirmative.
Right now we have a 35% firing solution, still insufficient to fire. That's okay though. We still have time. It's not moving real fast, that's how it is. The 12 by time compression. Okay, this is a little bit bigger boat, 4,200 tons. 67%, 75, 85. That's about as good as I'm going to get.
Flood 2-1. Flood 2-2.
Stay same, 1.5 meter depth, 30 meter spread. Flood those 2 tubes.
Tube 1 flooded. Tube 2 ready.
Fire.
Fire.
Again, he's not escorted, so we will begin immediate reloading procedures.
Move. Come on, quickly. 30 seconds.
We're slowing down.
20 seconds.
There you go.
10 seconds to impact.
Pair of hits on him. He's still got some hull structure remaining. Fires might take him down though. Should. 2 torpedoes should sink him. Yep. He's going. Put it back on the radio and tell headquarters about that kill.
Change course.
Neither occurring in our patrol zone. I told you to get on the radio.
Skipper.
Change course.
So that's like 7,000 tons almost. This stage of the war, that's a lot. Get that torpedo tube reloaded, and then we'll start reloading the other one. Now remember, I unmarked
Loaded.
automatically reload the torpedo tube. So if I don't tell them to reload it,
Skipper.
they won't. Because I told them not
Come on.
to do it on their own. Okay.
Faster! Faster!
Now we need to get back in our patrol
Ship
zone and
one,
finish our
loaded.
1,070 nautical miles we need to do in our zone.
Faster! Faster!
I'm waiting to be able to get to 1800 time compression again. There we go.
20 meters.
I was waiting for it to light up like these as options. Yikes, low air quality. Oh, we're still submerged. I never surfaced. Egads.
Blow the tanks!
Well, I screwed up, didn't I? I might have just killed my crew. I stayed dove. Get us to the surface so these guys can breathe.
On duty.
Switch to diesel engines.
He's absolutely exhausted, but I've got crewmen that are going to die if he doesn't take care of them.
Skipper. Skipper. On duty.
And you got to go take care of that guy. And that's the danger of time compression. If you're not paying attention to what you were doing, and I had left them submerged after they sank that second ship, I didn't surface. You only have so much air in the sub. So I ended up using 3 med kits I shouldn't have had to use. It was my own damn fault. You do have scrubbers you can use to recirculate the air, which will work for a while. He attends to that guy. We'll have him come back and run the compressors to refill our ballast tanks with compressed air. Treating the third guy there, dying from oxygen deprivation. I had to get surface so I could open the conning tower and get fresh air in the boat. And there we go. Everybody's alive. Our batteries are recharging now because we're on the surface. Now our radio man / mechanic goes to bed. We return to our patrol zone.
Change course.
Incoming message from U-1008. Single steamer, Naval Square AN-228, 7 knots, 66 degrees. Fired 3 torpedoes, 2 were duds, 1 missed. So, AN-228 at 7 knots, course 66 degrees. This is where we just were. It's headed to Bergen. And I am way out of position to prosecute that. Could maybe catch up to it just as it reached port, but I am not in position to chase that down. Where are we?
Change course. Faster! Faster!
Let's find out. I don't know that I can catch it. It was a long ways ahead of me. I'm going about 2.5 times its speed. I caught up to it though. Unintentionally caught up to it on the surface. I was just about to dive and see if I could find it.
Calculate torpedo course. Set a course to these coordinates. We're slowing down!
There's another something back here. That could be another sub. We don't know anything about this boat yet. We're making twice its speed.
Set a course to these coordinates.
Okay, this is a Norwegian flag ship. It's a neutral. Why he fired 3 torpedoes into a neutral, I do not know. We will board the boat
Change
and
course.
search it for contraband. I am not going to attack the boat without knowing what its cargo is.
We're slowing down.
That's almost got to be a friendly sub. Yeah, that's one of our subs. Order him to turn around.
Change course.
We've got this under control.
Set a course to these coordinates.
We come up alongside it.
Change course. Set a course to these coordinates.
We don't want to ram into it, however.
We're slowing down. Change course.
And now we'll interact. Send a delegation to the freighter. Send our headquarters guy. We'll send one of our engineers. And we'll send enlisted people too. So we'll send 5 people over. We go over on a inflatable.
What do you need, officer?
Ask the captain for the shipping documents. Ask captain for documents, take cargo. He's ready for that. He has ready. Collect documents. Ship direct to the port of Bergen. Transport medical supplies if the ship is not involved in a war effort. Sinking it can lead to a diplomatic incident. Captain, afraid to raise an eyebrow and deny anything is wrong. Yeah, should be more specific. Captain denies all occupations. Search the cargo hold. This will be slow going. First time we've done it, and we don't have as many people. Could have 2 more people over there than I do. It is 2000 hours, basically 8 p.m. when we started here. It should be done probably 8:45-ish. $8:30 to 8:45, somewhere in that window. And 48 time compression. Let's go ahead and do it at 140. Just to get it done. Impatience is not a good thing in a sub-commander. And sub-sims will teach you that if you have any doubts. It's going to be pretty close to 8:30 when we're done. Captain confirms you can have a look. The crew is searching the cargo hold. We are 99% through. It is 8:27. We're almost there. Officers group looked around, covered by a talkative sailor who speaks some German. He shared his view on the war. About his uncle that married a woman from Hamburg. Nothing suspicious was found. Officers looked at some of the cargo, but have not found anything unusual. And we will just return to our ship. We're going to let this one go. We didn't find anything. Give us reason to question it.
Set a course to these coordinates.
We have no reason to sink it.
Faster! Faster!
However, we do need to return to our patrol zone. I just need to make sure I don't get in a collision there.
Set a course to these
There we go.
coordinates. We're slowing down.
We have not yet run the required
Set a
mileage
course
in
to
our
these
patrol zone.
coordinates.
So we need to get back there. Here we go. 1800 on the time compression. Get us back to where we're headed. Sank 2 ships. Neither one in our sector. U-100 again. We're not going to chase north after another one. Steamer, Naval Square AN 234, course 126, slow speed. It's another ship going into Bergen. It is outside of our area now. We need to get back into our zone.
Change course.
On your order.
No. Here we go. That's the right button. Gotta hold the shift key down when you do that to plot a second leg. Middle of the afternoon. Our guy's gonna go to bed here, get himself sleep on the radio shortly. Radio message first, U-828. Single merchant ship propeller heard at Naval Square AN 234. Estimated high speed, southeasterly course. And 234 going southeast rapidly. We'll be up in this area.
Set a course to these coordinates. Faster!
You can
faster!
try.
Faster!
He was
faster.
moving at a good rate of speed. Damn it.
Set a course to these coordinates.
Patrol completed.
Change course.
Guys on tank pressure when that ship popped by, radio message popped up. Too many things happened at once. Send our report. For some reason he quit fatiguing, I don't know why.
50 meters.
Periscope 30 meters. 50 meters.
Switch to electric motors.
And our radio guy went to bed.
Blow the tanks.
30 meters. Periscope deck.
Switch to diesel engines.
Pressure's turned back on. Trying. Got nobody to receive that missile. Okay, it's going to say he received it even though he's asleep. Single merchant spotted in 227, slow speed easterly zigzagging. That's this guy up here. That's not where I want to be. And this guy's gotten away from us. Okay. We're just going to call this mission complete and return to port. Two days later. You don't need to take 2 days though. Here it is, Port of Wilhelmshaven. Okay, come on. Loading screens. Our triumphant return. Iron Cross second class. Carhine Schuster. It's our radio man who saved 3 people from dying. Iron Cross second class for the commander. 19 out of 20 points toward first class. Campaign mission completed. You got 100% prestige for that. Empire Foam was sunk. Our source forming ship was headed from Bergen to London with medical supplies in the cargo holds. 2,700 tons. The Empire Cleve, medical supplies with 4,200 tons, so 6,900 tons. 6,905 actually. That's a good first patrol. Sank 2 British ships, almost 7,000 tons. We inspected 1 independent neutral flagship. We didn't lose any crewmen, although we came close through my screw-ups. Now we would resupply and get ready for our next mission. I'm going to call this an episode here. I'm going to stop the recording shortly. If you would, click that like button, hit subscribe, comment down below, and share your thoughts on this. Is this a game you want me to continue with, or something else you'd rather I did? I was figuring on doing 2, 3, maybe 4 patrols on U-Boat, and then doing something different. Maybe do the Curse of the Azure Bonds and continue the party over from Pool of Radiance. Share your thoughts with me down below. What do you guys want to see? Talk to me here. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Stay safe, have fun, and as always, until we see each other again, stay the hell off my lawn. Thanks a lot, everyone. Appreciate your time. Take care. Bye-bye.